Okay, let's go ahead and get going. Good morning. Welcome to our sales meeting. We always start off with our buyers and sellers gratitudes and celebrations and or wants and needs. If you don't have anything you guys want to share with us online or here in person. Okay. Well, then I will go ahead and start with this. This is, I gotta move this laptop. So we do have our Presidio University certificates of achievement, and we want to present first to those that are here. So Chrissy, come on up. Chrissy has earned enough to receive a bachelor's certificate. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay, I don't know that anybody else is here yet. Kyla, Crystal, Daphne, Sunshine. You have to send me your CE education screenshot from Realms, and then we'll have you. I'll print it off. So, okay. And then later on, if you want to take a picture, we've got a little cap here for your social media to do that with. Okay, no announcements or anything? All right, moving on. All right, we are moving on to, obviously it's not set up like it normally is. So check our website for our weekly CE. There's at least 5 CE hours this week. We don't have class on Tuesdays or Thursday this week though, or next week. Next week, I mean.
Will you remind them it's Code of Ethics tomorrow, which is pretty important for those that need it?
Yeah, so the 3-hour mandatory Code of Ethics class that you have to take to renew your cycle. One is being being taught tomorrow. What time? 10?
10. Steve
10 a.m.
is doing it.
Do you know which of the 3 classes it is?
Let me look. I'll get back to you.
So there's 3 different classes that you can take, and we are certified in all of them, all 3 of them. So we'll rotate the different types of 3, and Tana's going to look it up to see which one that's going to be. Well, I can't do it the normal way, but I don't know if you can see this. Nope, you can't see that. So we had 45 closings last week. So congratulations to all those that had closings. We have multiple closings. Utah Listing Pro had 5. So good job. Donna Crowley had 3, Kenny Sperry had 2, Paige had 2, Taylor had 2, and Granite Realty Group had 2. So lots of multiple closings, lots of single closings. So congratulations to all those. And then we have the Women's Empowerment Seminar still going. That's tomorrow, right? Okay, that's going to happen tomorrow at First Colony. Is that correct? Yeah, okay.
Okay, Steve. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Tana. What?
It's the basic Code of Ethics. It's not the commercial or the residential.
Okay, so it's the basic one. Okay, got it. So you say that got canceled? Is that the one that got canceled then? Because only one person showed up? Okay. Okay, good to know. Guess you shouldn't have eliminated the guys. Just saying, since it was women only one even signed up. Okay. All right. Kyla, come on out. You get your certificate too. And then Kyla is also our top closing agent for January. So congratulations. That's right. Good job. And Crystal didn't walk in, did she? Okay. Okay. We are going to start with our vendors. Silverback, come on up first. And you can have about 30-40 seconds.
Perfect.
For it.
Perfect. Brian Miyazaki with Silverback Home Warranty. So new rep for Silverback, been with them just here for a few months. So if you don't have these free service call coupons, let me know. I can definitely get these to you. Great value for your clients for service calls on up. Let me know if I can do anything. Thank you.
All right. Cool. Elevate. Come on up.
All right. Sorry, guys, I gotta talk really fast. So I have these, little notebooks. They have my picture on there with my old hair. I miss my old locks, so if you guys are as well. I'm gonna pass these out. It's gonna make me cry. And then I wanted to.
You
talk
almost
about
got
the
one.
construction today. So we have a new construction plan. And it starts on your home. It's actually a 3-year plan that we offer, which is super awesome. So it starts, usually the home builder has the warranty for the first year, right? So they cover all the things in the home. And then after that, we have a new construction plan that covers for 3 years. It's actually a really great value for your home. And the plan can start at even as low as $650 for 3 years. So it's really awesome. We do that on condos and townhomes, and then it starts at $750 for single family homes and up. So if you have any questions about new construction, I'll hand these out as well. But if you want, yeah, just try not to cry when you look at my lawns. That's it.
Come on up, Crystal.
I don't even have hair.
Okay, Crystal's here, so we're gonna jump to Crystal.
Sorry.
Camera's over here.
Hi.
Crystal achieved her bachelor's, so congratulations, Crystal.
Thanks. Okay, great.
Okay, thanks. All right, First Colony, you want to come on up? And as you can see, we got some more tables and more chairs to fit everybody, so we don't have standing room only. Go for it.
I just wanted to remind everybody about the 0 down loans that we have. We've been seeing a lot more buyers coming in that don't have down payments, that want to still get into a home, which obviously is a little bit harder, but price is high and interest rates high, but who knows the 3 different loans that you can do for 0 down? Not FHA. USDA, VA, Utah Housing. Thank you. Utah Housing has 2 separate loans that we can do. It is there's an FHA based loan and a conventional based loan. So there are options for your buyers that don't have a down payment. If they want to run numbers, I'm happy to do that. So if you want to just send them my way, I can go ahead and run numbers and let them know where they would be at. So thanks.
Okay, thanks. Security National.
Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the do's and don'ts we do for clients. We send this out to them quite quickly, especially after a pre-approval. Just wanted to go over a couple of things so you guys can see the gray lines of it. Some of the do's is keep paying bills on time. I'm sure you all know that. Let us know if there's any significant job changes, changing jobs, becoming self-employment, or quit your job. They need to let us know about that, because not necessarily if they have another job offer, can we not get them approved and get them closed? We do contracts. There's certain programs that we do those on. So if you'd like a copy of this, or if you'd like me to email it to you, let me know. And there's great things that you can hand out to your client. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I don't think there's any more of our vendors here or online that I see. Oh, okay, you want to go take care of TC? Angie, take it away.
Don't forget me. Thanks.
Hi, I don't really have anything to say other than, don't forget, Take Care TC is here to help you. We've got several TCs, all licensed agents, and anywhere from $99 to $3.99. And we're part of every MLS. I want to let everybody know that. So if you decide to list one in Cedar City, we can help you.
And you're all licensed, right?
Yep.
They're all licensed with Presidio.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Ange.
Thanks.
From $99 to $3.99, you can go to takecaretc.com and see their package. And they are a partner with us. Okay, since I can't do this to people that are online, but we want to welcome our newest agent, one of our newest agents, associate brokers to Presidio, Bob Alphin. So Bob's right there. Say hi to Bob. Bob was my mentor. He was my first broker when I got in the business 23 years ago. So it's good to have us back together, and he has joined Presidio now. So welcome to Bob. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and turn the time over to Lyndsey. She is gonna talk on the power to pain. What is all that about? Come on up. Pain to power. Okay, the other way around. I only know power to pain, believe me. I don't know the other way.
It's really, you have to really learn a lot to go to the power to pay. Let's try to do it. Thank you.
Power meeting.
All right, I want to make sure everyone online can see us.
What's your last name, Lyndsey?
Lyndsey Van Sickle. All right, I've been really excited to come in. I thank you for having me. Today, so it's the power of pain, the going from pain to power. And I teach shred writing as a tool to relieve stress before it becomes heavy. So are any of you a fan of Moab? Yeah. Okay, me too. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, you just need. You just got back this weekend. Yay. Okay, let me see if my screen will share. I'm going to. Let's pull this up. See if we can get it for everybody. Okay. Okay, share the screen. Okay, can everyone online, can you see that?
Yes, and we
Okay,
can still
looks like
see
we
you.
can. We're in business. Okay, I'm glad we have a lot of Moab fans in here. It's one of my favorite. My family and I were recently on a road trip there, and it was our first time ever going. And you know, it's the red rocks. You've got all the arches there, and we're driving in the car. I'm not a huge fan of road trips, but we have our 4 kids, my husband and I. It's just starting to get dark. Not quite. It's late afternoon. And we're starting to see all of the gorgeous views come in. We're going along, and my husband, he's driving. He turns over to me and he goes, Lyndsey, he's like, this looks so familiar. I just went here with the scouts. I swear this is the hike we just went on. Do you want to try it? Do you want to get out? Do you want to do the hike? And I'm over here and I'm like, yes, please, anything to get out of the car. I'm so ready. Yes, 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 pull off. Let's go. Before long, the car's pulled off. We start off on the hike. And it feels so good to be out. The kids are leaving behind all the goldfish that's crushed into the carpet. There's no more feet resting up on the windows. You know what I'm talking about on these road trips. And we're just gonna go start to see Moab and explore. And before long, we're climbing over some red rocks. We're going in some crevices, and we come along to a river, walking the trail. My husband turns to me again. He goes, Lyndsey, this is that hike. There are so many rivers to cross along the trail. It's fine. This is going to be great. Let's go do it. Being the great dad that he is, he picks up our then 6-year-old Violet and he just starts to cross the river with her. Well, what is she doing? She's like, dude, I don't want to put down. Screaming. He gets to the other side. He puts her down and he says, Violet, what's wrong? What's going on? She's over here. I didn't want to down. I didn't want to hold. I'm over here like, Violet, it's soaking wet. It's getting dark. We didn't want you to be cold on the hike. We didn't want you to be freezing. And she looks up at us, her 6-year-old with her really big eyes. And she says, but Mom, I wanted to experience it. Have you ever hiked with cold shoes? Yeah. The socks are the worst. It's so yuck. I can't stand it. That's what we were trying to protect her from. And she didn't even want us to. Who knew? I didn't know. And I stopped and it made me think, do I ever let myself Just go out and explore, mess up, live life, just to know what it feels like. Do you ever let yourself live? Or do you let yourself just ever just live? Or just live and be free? Or are you ever just free? Free to really try things, really feel things out, really explore them. Like Violet wanted to do that day. It's not the experiences that we go through that cause all the pressure and the stress in our lives. Right? You've heard this, we've all heard this. It's our ideas around them. I think it's so interesting. One of the top reasons that we avoid pain is because we don't know what to do with it. Right? Why does that matter to us? Well, when we don't know what to do with pain, then what do? Any ideas? We shrink. Yes, we totally ignore it. We shrink, exactly. We hide, we push it away. And anything, of course, that we're pushing away, we're hiding from, what's happening? The pressure builds, it gets bigger and bigger. We've all felt it before. It's like trying to keep 50 corks underwater. It becomes impossible to have a clear mind. It becomes impossible to feel engaged in the work that we're doing, to be enjoying the people that we're with, when the weight of all of those stresses and the pressure starts to build on our chest, the heaviness. It wasn't too long ago that I was in my late 20s, was about 10 years ago. And I was sitting on my bed. And at this point in my life, I hadn't really let myself look at any of the feelings that I had, anything that was going on, and all those pressures, all those weights. I call them now the things we don't say. All of those things that I hadn't said, I could feel. They were built up. And what are these unsaids? Where did they come from? Can anyone guess? Yeah, Karen.
Or upsetting others, or.
Yeah.
Just don't say it.
Fear of judgment. Karen says fear of judgment, fear of upsetting others. Conflict.
If we don't say it, it doesn't exist.
If we don't say it, it doesn't exist. That's what I was doing. That's my favorite. They come from childhood, right? Not being picked for a sports team, being the first out on the spelling bee. Then we get older, things that friends say to us, having quotas or a bill that we're just not sure if we can meet or we can keep up to. The things that aren't okay with us, right? We all know this. Over time, that's what makes stress feel so stressful. That's what makes pain feel so painful. It's not the actual experience, is it? So this day, late 20s, sitting on my bed, I had 3 kids at this point. My nice journals sprawled open on my lap. And I can feel the weight of everything I hadn't said on my chest. And something changed that day, and I'm still not sure why. I think a part of it is because I knew in my mind, I couldn't just keep going for so long, not looking at the things that were going on. I'd had a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, things had built up. There was a feeling like I don't have anything to lose. I'm not being productive in my life. I'm not feeling happy. What is there to lose? And so I told myself, I'm just going to let myself for once say whatever it is I want to say. I'm going to get it all out. It's fine. I told myself, I'll tear up all the paper and I'll throw it away. It won't matter. But before I did this, I got up off of my bed and I went and I peeked out of my bedroom door to make sure that the kids weren't watching. I locked the door and went back to my bed. I can't explain. It felt like I was going to do something so scandalous. Honestly, just to look at what I was feeling. And I sat there, I ripped some paper out of that journal, and I wrote everything that felt unjust, that felt like it wasn't fair, the things that I thought there's no way I could ever say this. I got it out, I scribbled it out, the words, I was surprised. They were already at the surface, ready to be said. They tumbled out. It was about 3 pages front and back. I ripped them out of the journal. tore them into teeny pieces, and I took them to the outside garbage and I just threw them all away. I didn't think much of it. Honestly, I was like, well, I guess I'm still fine. I'm gonna go on with my life. That was weird. Let's kind of just not even act like that was a thing. Let's move on. Right? Has anyone been there? You kind of get to a breaking point. I went on with the day. Well, a few days later, I started to feel this heaviness set in again. What did I do? I reached for that nice journal again. I wrote through a bunch more pages. Eventually, I switched to cheap notebooks. Something had changed that very first day when I started writing. Instead of ignoring everything, I showed up for myself. I gave myself permission finally to just see what was going on. The feeling I remember having was just like, Lyndsey, thank you. Thank you for finally just saying what was already there. What was already there. Let's see if this will switch. The weights that were on my chest and it felt so heavy. They just needed acknowledgement. This is the cost of the unsaid. All these experiences building up over time. There's Violet. The next time that we went on the hike for the rest of the rivers that we had to cross, she crossed it. And she loved it. She has chocolate on her face. She's having a great time. All of these experiences that build over time, none of us are immune to any of them. And for a long time, I thought the goal was just to hurry and get rid of them, right? Let's just try to not have them, not be there. But that's not our lives, right? And some of us have big experiences going on, big things that we go through. Maybe the divorce of a parent. We're going through that right now in my family with parents that are in their 70s. Maybe it's right? It's just unexpected. Maybe the death of a sibling.
Well, it's 70, like just.
It's a whole talk for it's a whole, let's talk afterwards for sure. Or it could be the death of a sibling, pressures, different things that are going on. My grandma was a realtor. My mom was a realtor. I feel like for a long time, I had this front row seat of some of the things that were going on. Maybe some of the things that you're experiencing, right? It's like you're working 24/7, it seems like. Oh, so much to keep up on. And if you stop, then what will happen? The interest rates seem like they're changing. House prices are still high. There's so much competitive, hard to keep up on. Are these any of the ones you're experiencing? What else? What are you experiencing?
Unknown.
The unknowns. Thank you.
Well, you're basically unemployed after each transaction. And so going out, so the stress of that alone, of trying to, okay, now what's next? Where's the next paycheck gonna come from? So the stress of that, I think is, people don't realize it. You're literally unemployed after each transaction.
Wow. Okay, Karen, for those online, you're literally unemployed after each transaction. It's over. You're starting fresh. You're looking for a new job all the time. That's a really good point. What other ones do you feel right now?
I have a client that needs a ton of closing costs and I'm begging the listing agent. I'm just begging every single time to make an offer and then please just look at the actual person, but they can't. They don't know the person. So it's the begging.
The feeling like you're always negotiating, trying to push for more, like the pressure on you to do that.
Well, if not, they don't. Well,
Then it's gonna not
get
work.
a house. You know, they have to renew their lease and it's 2008. Oh.
Okay, all the details of the contracts, going back and back. Any other ones?
Complicated caring.
Yeah.
She cares about them before, during, and after the transaction and her relationship.
And it has its wear, right?
Yes.
There's a little bit of a toll with all of that you do to care and to show up and to be a good agent. Anything else anyone wants to share?
Work-life balance.
Oh, don't go there.
Work-life balance is huge. That's the one you said.
Payment, I had so many clients that when you see the real numbers, the interest rate and the house price, they're like, I'm just gonna wait. like, okay, you're gonna go and it's high too. But they get scared, like it's already $3,000. Yeah.
Yes.
So the reality of what it's all going to cost, and then they change their mind.
Like they won't get it, but they just cancel, so.
They did all the work that you've done.
Yes.
Always working, work-life balance. Were you gonna say another one? What was the one you said? No, okay. Okay. These are some people I really love. There's, when you think about these pains that we were just talking about, and when you're going through this struggle, what does society say about the pains? Any ideas with these?
You're weak if you have it, if you experience it, if you share it.
Who's felt that? You're weak if you have it. Was there another one you're saying?
No.
If you have it, if you experience it.
I think everybody has it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you actually.
Yeah.
if somebody
Go under
knows.
share
You
it.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Right, totally agree. You're weak if you acknowledge it. If you show it. What else does society say?
You're somebody you're not. I don't know.
Be somebody you're not. So just put on a mask.
Image of trying to be the best or whatever, instead of just going to
Owning who you are, like fake it till you make it, right? I think there's some inside stories going on here. Not at all. Yeah, we need to talk later about more things. There's this, right? Does anyone feel this, like it shouldn't be this way? Why is this happening to me? This should stop. It's different. And we even have this part of our brain, some of you are probably familiar with it. Right here, it's the amygdala. When I was studying it first, I thought it was called the amygdala. It's not, it's the amygdala right here in our temporal lobe. And its sole job and purpose is just to keep us safe. And that's great. Back in the day when we were chased by a prehistoric animal, it's that part of our brain that would say, stop, watch out, look what you're doing. You need to stay safe, you need to stay alive. That was a huge priority, right? Of course, now this staying alive, this being chased isn't a thing, but this part of our brain hasn't evolved for a couple thousand years. So our amygdala is still triggering all the time, telling us to watch out, telling us to stay alive, but we're not in danger all the time. So what is this part of our brain really doing? It's just keeping us from living brave lives. It's keeping us living smaller. It's telling us all the time we shouldn't do something just because it's scary. Someone who totally pushed past those natural tendencies. Lyndsey Vaughn. Anyone love her?
Yes.
Yes, me too. I just finished her biography. It's amazing. She is an Olympic gold medalist. Only one person in the world has skied better than her with World Cups. She was rejected by most of her peers. She had very public depression, anxiety. She went through a really public divorce as well. Of course, she had multiple injuries that skiers had, many surgeries. But yet, what do we love about her? She's incredible, a role model. She helps teens. She has a nonprofit. She kept showing up. She kept skiing. Grant Cardone. Anyone love him? Yes. He always gets me fired up. Right? Billionaire, helped so many people. Did you know he was homeless? He had $10 to his name at one point. Barbara Cochran, also a favorite. Who's a fan of Barbara? Her and her then husband started their business. A lot of you might know this, with $1,000. And he came home one day and he said, I'm leaving you for my secretary. I just want to split our business in half, start our own separate businesses and go our separate ways. And as he was leaving, he walked out the door and he said, you know, you'll never make it without me. Those are just the words she needed to hear, right? She's the $1 billion real estate empire, the queen of real estate in New York. She is not held back. She's my favorite shark on Shark Tank, helps produce the show. But isn't it so interesting that when we have these uncomfortable things, these awkward things, these struggles, we feel like, oh, this shouldn't be in my story. I want to be successful. I don't want any of this pain, any of this struggle. Yet it's interwoven into everyone's lives, that the people that we admire the most, it's interwoven into our own life. And when we're feeling motivated, right, at our best, we want to do big things. You have big sales goals. We celebrated a bunch of them, just barely. Can we let pain sometimes be the thing to take us there? Sometimes be the thing that will bring us to power. We're going to talk more about how to do that specifically. But we see, and we know, like my 6-year-old Violet, she knew that there's treasures in the muck. She could probably sense what we see in these people that we admire, that there's something to gain there. So you might be asking yourself, how do we get that treasure in the muck then? How do we go through our lives in 2023 with all those struggles that we're talking about and let it be powerful? Let it be something that helps us, but not feels just the weight of it and stress all the time. One of my favorite things that my sister ever told me, and she's pretty hilarious. She says, Lyndsey, we could just sit around, we could just be happy all the time. But we run out of drugs eventually. If the point, thank you, I love the laugh. It always makes me laugh. If the point was just to be happy all the time, I think we would, if that's what would help us the most. But there are these treasures in the muck, and that's so much more important. All right, I love this one. It's covered. How can I move it?
You can just drag it out to the side.
Here we go. When you get to experience love in your memories, but also have to experience war and pain. Yeah, let me see if I can. Oh, I can. What do you know? That was easy. Is that better? Okay. Just exit that. There. Can everyone see that? Okay. Imagine a bridge right up here where pain is on one side and the other side is power. It's this piece right here in the middle. It's become so huge for me in my life. This piece of permission. When we feel safe enough, we can give ourselves permission to see the things that are really going on, to say the unsaid, the things that we hide from, the things that we push away. That's when we start to take the power back from the experiences that we're going through, and they start to loosen their grip and their hold on us. How do we do this? Clicker doesn't work. Hey, Dr. Viktor Frankl, anyone fan of his? He wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He said he survived Auschwitz, the harshest concentration camp of World War II. And he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So the important piece to know is that before stress starts to feel so stressful, before pain starts to take over our lives, there is a space. There is a space for things to happen. Hey, I'm excited because we're going to try this. The process, the writing that I told you about that I started to do, I started that 10 years ago. The reason it's been so powerful for me in my life, and I still do this shred writing, is because that day, rather than telling myself my experiences weren't okay, what I was going through wasn't valid, I gave myself permission to see what was really going on, permission to say the unsaid. And in that permission, I started to realize the things that I was going through didn't mean everything that I thought they meant. So we're gonna try it. This is we're gonna do a little experiment. This is a safe place. We're just gonna have 4 minutes and we're gonna do our own. He's giving. People in here are giving each other permission to rip the sticky note. For everybody on Zoom, it's a sticky note with the guy's flowing hair. Is that right?
Yeah.
So Karen, do you have a question, Karen?
Yeah, do you have?
There's one more.
Yeah.
So I have some papers all passed out. I'll pass these out in just a second. But I just want to say first, so the process that I found that works really well that we're going to try is we're just gonna have 4 minutes, we're gonna have some music, and you just free write. Right? No judgment. And for everybody at home, you can just get any piece of paper and I'll have the prompt up on the screen. So no judgment, no punctuation, no spelling. You just let the words flow. It will give you an idea of how it is to release something that we normally push away. Then when the time's up, I'll tell you, and we'll just talk about how the experience was. If anyone wants, you'll have an opportunity to share what you thought, and we'll just go from there. So at home, just go ahead and grab your paper. I'm going to pass these out and I'll put the prompt up. Here's the instructions again. And we're going to tear it up and throw it away. So we're not going to share it with anybody, just to give yourself an idea. And then the prompt is on the paper. Prompt is on the paper too. You can start when you get it, and then I'll start the timer when everybody has one. Does anyone else need to like, do we need to cry now? Feelings. Nobody wants feelings. Sit down. I have a no, I think we have some more ready. Anybody need a pen? Yeah. Shut up. Yes. All right, I'll start some music and go ahead and just look at the prompt. Think of the last stressful experience you had. And the experience is over, but you can still feel something there. That's the unsaid. That's what we're going to acknowledge. I don't have anything to say about this, but if I did, what would it be?
Battery 20%. Connected to Lyndsey Van Sickle's iPhone.
1 minute left. Okay. I'm going to just stop right there and just breathe deeply and tear the paper into teeny little pieces. And then throw it away. You can just make here. I'll just set it right here.
We're glad you gave us the paper. I didn't want to tear up Tanner's face.
Just, it's amazing. Our mind really knows what to do. As you tear the paper, it will just let go without too much effort.
Can we burn it?
Yeah. My teenagers burn the paper. They love to burn it. This is actually a page I took from my black book. It's a book I'll talk a little bit more about later, but after doing this shred writing for 7 years and finding so much relief, so much acknowledgement, I put my process into a book that actually has these prompts and I process so that we can shred write it. If you're interested, I have them on lyndseyv.com.
Could you start that again?
Yes, yeah.
Why do I feel like I still want to hold on to it just through it?
Are you kidding? He would.
Yeah.
With emotion.
I'm a martyr. Yeah, I just want to hold on.
Like you're.
Just want to hold on.
Like, it's like, oh, it's here now.
Yes, there's, right, so many pieces, they need deep acknowledgement. This is, I think of our feelings, our experiences, it's like an onion, like yes, some of it's still getting torn. We experience it, we write and we acknowledge a layer, and there's pieces of us that need more. We just wrote for 4 minutes today. Usually for me, I'll set the timer, I'll write for about 20, and I'll go and sometimes I'll come full circle. This is certainly a tool I want to gift you today. I want to show you so that you can, in the time that you feel is right, the space that you feel is right, you can find this time for yourself to acknowledge some of those things, to see what can come about for you. So this was a piece from my black book that I was just mentioning a second ago, that it was about 7 years of doing this shred writing, I started calling it, and taking the power back in my own life. I started to find my voice. I started to feel a lot more confident, and it didn't come from someone approving of me or something that I thought it would come from. It started to come from finding peace with all these experiences. So it was about 3 years ago that I created this book that has all of these prompts. It has the process, how I do it, a little bit of my story. If you feel like that would be helpful, I have it online. It's on Lyndsey, LYNDSEYV.com. So that's the black book and the piece of that. Who does anyone want to share? What did you think of this experience? I heard somebody say a couple things already. What do you think of it?
It's good.
It's good. Thumbs up.
It's always hard to start in the beginning. At least for me, I never know like what to write, where do I want to start in my stressful life? But then as you get going, it like really started to come out. I found myself like right at your minute, like still having so much more. I'm like, oh, I can keep going if I wanted to. So I found that.
4 minutes. Okay. What's your name? I'm just going to tell everyone online. Okay, so Courtney says, once she started with the writing, she realized, whoa, there's actually more here than I thought. It's kind of like pulling it out. There's more I could say. And then, okay, what were you saying?
4 minutes went really fast.
4 minutes went quick. We should do an hour and a half training. I'll do this whole 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Karen, what do you think?
So I have actually bought 2 of Lyndsey's books, and I gave one, because immediately when I first started to speak, I'm like, I need Bible school teacher, because I'm a stepmom, and so it's hard to have that kind of relationship as the stepmom. But I could see that she was going through some things, and I don't think she's close enough to mom either to share those things. And so I bought her one, and I bought myself one because I am like notoriously for like waiting for everybody to be in bed, and I go in my bathroom and I just cry it out, for like an hour or whatever, about whatever my stress is. So I recommended the journal because, again, even if you don't feel like you have anything to say, these little prompts that she has on each page, at least for my teenager too, it's been like, she uses it because I will see little piles of paper, where she has her journal. She'll have little piles of these shredded papers that, and that actually led to her asking us to put her in to find her a therapist. So.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Karen says she has the black book and she gave it to one of her teens, and her teen, she's found papers that was able to kind of express things and show that maybe she might want a therapist, or it's really helped her to have that it's a safe place, right? Because we won't give ourselves permission to really acknowledge what needs to be said if we don't feel safe, right? When we don't know what to do with pain, we hide it. That's our go-to. I thought I was the only one, and I just thought there's no way I could ever look at this. And now I'm realizing how human of a thing it is to do. Anything else anyone wants to share? Anything you thought about the experience?
Ended up throwing it away. I felt kind of compartmentalize it, just throw it away and ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we wanted to get our pieces back.
No, yeah.
We're gonna dump it, so then we go.
So the putting it away, the throwing it away, and the connecting in your mind with the throwing it away, that there's some interesting dynamics there. Yes, I totally agree.
And this is actually like proven like therapy method, because I've had therapists tell me that. They're like, if you don't feel comfortable saying, just write it and burn it or rip it up or whatever.
Don't keep
Yes.
reading it, because you're just re-allowing that pain to stay in your brain.
Right. Don't keep reliving it, get it out on paper, get it out, throw it away. And then Karen said it's a method that she's heard other therapists recommend, shred writing. That's awesome. Then go ahead.
I do a lot of this type of work as well, clients, and one other method that I really love instead of shredding it. So like for her, shredding doesn't feel good because it's like setting it aside.
Yeah.
I have them write until it turns positive. So you write negative, 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 until naturally your body will start to release the positive, and it creates a solution. So it goes from pain to power that way as well.
Yes.
So a quick method is to shred, because sometimes we need to do that. We need to write it out, shred it up. And other times we need a solution, and your body and your mind will naturally create it as long as you acknowledge all the pain first.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, what's your name? I'm going to tell everyone.
Christy.
Okay, Christy says, was it Christy?
Christy.
Christy Sadar says that as she's found, as you write, the experiences will actually become positive. I found that too, becoming full circle. And so if you feel like, oh, I'm not ready, maybe don't push it, just keep writing, see where it takes you, and you might come to a really powerful place with it, from pain to power. Yeah.
I found that writing it down and then I don't read it to the person, but it helps me clarify my thoughts when I'm face to face. And then I can express it better.
Yeah, so specific notes to a person.
Instead of writing it on
Jumbled, and then you write it out, you're able to.
And then I don't read it to the person because it's too much. But it organizes my thoughts and feelings, and then I can present it better.
Has anyone ever done that? Like talk to your spouse in the car when they're not there, or written a note to them, or a lot of it's right all the time. Me too. I even have a letter section in the back of the black book because a lot of it, we just need a process we need to get through, and there are things to talk about, but sometimes we have to work it out in our own minds first. And in 2011, Harvard Business School did a study where they got two different groups. One where they were both groups of people who had experienced a lot of trauma. And one group just wrote their experiences, one group didn't write. Of course, the group who wrote their experiences found relief and showed to have less emotional fallout. Then in 2001, the American Psychological Association published an article tying writing to lessening of anxiety. And then what we're doing by shred writing today takes it a couple steps further than that. Some people, they just I love that cathartic, that tearing of the paper, symbolic of letting it go. But even more, like we mentioned, it's knowing that the paper is going to be torn up, that it's going to be thrown away is what will let you really look at what needs to be said. The things that are keeping us living small. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I share one more thing? For
Yes.
Little kids, but I love this method too, but it's really great for kids. Is get out crayons or markers or pens of different colors and ask them what color they're feeling and have them scribble, because they don't know the words, right? They don't know what words they're feeling. But
Okay.
they can pick a color and just scribble it on a page and just tell them to, scribble hard, scribble fast, scribble slow, do circles, do squares, whatever. And that gets out their emotions too, for toddlers especially. But sometimes when you're wrapped up in an experience and emotions, your thoughts are like a little kid's, just totally jumbled. So before you even start writing words, you can just scribble different colors or even just use a pen and just scribble it out.
Yes, Chrissy says just scribble, even especially for kids, allowing them to get it out in that way. We're going to move on really quick because I don't want to go over it all with your meeting. We only have a few more minutes left. But what if sometimes the experiences that we went through, they were just details of life? Like Violet seeing a river, I just want to cross that river. It's when we become not okay with what we're going through that we start to feel the heaviness, right? The river is going to be too cold. It's too painful. I don't want to. Starts to get stressful. Or I can't let my coworkers see me vulnerable. I can't let them see me struggle. That's when the stress really starts to set in. It gets real fast. But it's like we said earlier, the awareness of pain isn't actually pain. The awareness of failure isn't actually failure. As humans, we have this unique ability to step back from it, observe our experiences and observe our pain without grabbing onto it and saying that it's us. That's that space Dr. Viktor Frankl talked about. That space where we find permission. That's how we move from pain to power every time. That's the treasure in the muck. To me, real power is being able to take our experiences, to be able to see them, face them head on, move forward and live bravely, regardless of what's going on, show up, even scared, and live our lives as we want to. That's how we really bless other people. That's true power. I have a friend who just reached out to me and she shredded through almost her entire Black book a couple of weeks ago. It was the week that her husband left. And her mind felt so much more clear. She was able to make decisions easier. A well-known speaker, she just reached out to me and she said, Lyndsey, I've already done so much work. I didn't know what this would be like for me, but I found these hidden things, these hidden layers, and it's weird. I just feel more relaxed. I just feel a little bit more myself. Two people in my study, one of them said, I didn't realize, someone else said this in here too, I didn't realize what was already all just bubbling at the surface, just ready to be said. Someone else said, I didn't even know I needed relief. Who knew I needed this relief? I know I might sound like a broken record, but it's the things that we don't say that keep us in stress, that keep us in pain, not the experiences that we're going through. As we acknowledge them, as we face them head on, we find our power. We realize that those experiences didn't define us at all, but are just the pieces of our life that we're all meant to feel, to come into power. Life is, right? Someone I really admire that I've coached with, she tells me, she says, life is, right? Everything else is our beliefs, our experiences, our emotions. Everything else we tie to it is judgment. This isn't okay. This shouldn't be happening to me. Why is it like this? I'm not good enough. It doesn't add up. all of these judgments, that's what's creating the tension, pressure, the stress. I want to invite all of us right now to take out your phone and to put in your notes, what is something that you've been avoiding? We all have them. I have a million of them. What is something that you've been hiding from? And commit today to acknowledging it and see the freedom that you can find.
We gotta know here.
You've got to know here. I totally, we've got to know. I totally get it.
Can I ask a weird question?
Go ahead.
So there's a couple men in the room, and it's different for them than it is for us. Like, I want to know from like a man's point of view, like, how do they feel shredding? Because they're supposed to be strong and not have emotions. That's why Steve's not in the class. But like for us, like, we're women, we're full of all kinds of random emotions that come all day long, but you never hear about men like.
Wouldn't that be hard to be a man and have to live up to that, right?
Yeah.
Who wants, let's have one of our 3 men in here.
I think my point.
Yes,
well,
please share.
I actually took a picture of the paper before I tore it up, so. So
The confession.
for me, I tend to just talk to myself a lot. Talk to myself, go through it, and another method for me is like, it's like spoken word. So I'll have a beat playing, I have my recorder there, and I'm just in the moment. So I'm talking about things I'm feeling, things I'm going through, things I'm expecting, things I've experienced already. And it's always just kind of like the end to a chapter or a start of a new one, or I can always reflect on how I was feeling. I got like a couple albums actually, so I'll just.
The men in our room.
So, I've been doing it, and that's kind of something I've felt.
Thank you
I
for
like that. Thanks.
Chris, thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you for sharing. Through music and the beats and the spoken word, Chris shares, he's able to really process through, to really feel things. No, that's amazing. So you're not just like nothing ever phases you. So men feel and have these experiences.
So that's why I took the picture, because there was lyrics. I wasn't really just writing random. I always processed it of like, kind of how could it make sense? How is it really registered for you? And if you in depth, so. It's not myself, but a SoundCloud, you can get a SoundCloud, you can do voice memos on your phone, or you can. Yeah, Marshall Paul, no, for real.
This market where you can be on market, you're not gonna be afraid of being in front of a camera or speaking. I do a lot of radio stuff, and so it's just very easy to just do that.
My husband gets emotional when he gets mad. He can't process it,
Yes.
he just gets
And then
mad.
just gets angry,
Because
and then
they don't
he's
know how
got
to bristly back.
Yeah.
We're having some.
So lost, right?
I love it. So we're having some great conversation about processing, getting on camera, or getting your voice out to get more comfortable with the pain, right? To let it process, to acknowledge pain. A lot of different methods people are sharing. It's really powerful. Just imagine and a lot of us have done this, done similar things, talked, music, written, got on videos. And we've experienced how clear our mind can feel, right? Have you if you clean out a closet like this, the papers, the junk, the dust, all the collection, how amazing does it feel to get those hundreds of pounds of junk and just donate it, throw it all away? Shred it, right? Someone just said shred it. This is what we're doing for our mind. Imagine the possibility when your mind is so cleared out. Someone in Harvard Business Review, people were just interviewing her and asking her, how did you run your big company during COVID? Keep doing it, stay so positive. You know what she said? She said, I found joy in being a good neighbor. Something I recently started finding a ton of joy in, I never would have expected. Teaching my 1-year-old niece how to go down the stairs backwards. there's space in my mind because it's cleared out to enjoy some of these little things in life. What are the possibilities that are there for you? Last night I was cooking dinner for my family. I never used to enjoy cooking dinner, but it's funny now that there's not so much weight and so much stress. I listen to music. I'm adding in the ingredients. I'm finding some joy in things I didn't find. Shredding today was great. For some people, it opened cans of worms. For other people, it was something you're already doing, something totally new for others. But imagine if you made acknowledging the things that you go through shred writing or through one of these other ways. What if you did that consistently? What would you open up for in your life? What joys are there to find? What peace is there to find? What would you take the power back from? And it will be your own power. That is the real definition of a powerful person, and someone who's able to help so many others in their life. All right, thank you. Here's,
I was gonna say, do you have one of your books here?
I didn't bring a black book. Here's a picture of it on here.
It's
those-
very, very nice.
And
It's very nice.
yeah, if you're interested, you can, I have a code, shred the lies, all cap locks, that will take 20% off of the black book. Maybe you have a place I can put that online or something for everybody to see. Shred the lies. I have a goal of speaking 40 times this year. So if anyone has a small business or any groups that you'd like me to come into, I would love to do the women's health club. Yes, any groups or any businesses, paid or free, I'm just gonna get 40 this year. So thank you so much for being one of them and letting me fit. So it's L-Y and L-Y. Yeah, that would be a, I don't spell it because it's a different spelling. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Great.
We make jokes about Steve, because Steve has no emotions and he's not afraid to know it's all that. Like this, black and white, doesn't matter.